The world of Lauren was running out of time. The Shroud was no longer just attacking cities, it was devouring the planet. Mountains melted, oceans boiled in places, forests turned to glass. Even the air felt thinner, and the people were losing hope. The capital under threat. Only one stronghold remained untouched. Tessera, Kama City. Its defenses were old but powerful. Plasma towers circled its skyline. The last remaining fleet orbited overhead, waiting for targets that wouldn't appear. In the center of the city, Commander Rillan stood before a digital map. Red dots marked lost zones. "We have less than 36 hours, he said. "Then Tessera falls too." Counselor Morell shook his head. "Where is Earth?" No one answered. Vila had received Earth's reply. She had told the council, but the silence since then felt like betrayal. The evacuation plans, some council members wanted to flee. "We have 4 colony ships left," Morell said. "We take who we can, leave the rest." Rillan refused. "We hold this ground. Earth is coming." "And what if they don't?" Morell asked. "Then we die standing," Rillan said, "not running." The room fell quiet. Vela's choice villa stood alone on the rooftop of the signal tower. She hadn't slept in 2 days. She watched the horizon where distant cities had once stood. Now there was only darkness. Still, her mind held Earth's last words. "Humanity responds. Stand by." She believed it, but belief didn't stop the sky from burning. The mission. Council approved one final mission. A small team would take a portable signal amplifier and place it near the last active void line, deep energy rift near the southern pole. It was risky. The Shroud had been seen nearby, but Earth might be able to lock on better if the signal was stronger. And Vela was the only one who knew how to operate the ancient human tech. Commander Rylan selected 5 soldiers. They'd escort Vela in a stealth skimmer. She didn't hesitate. She said, voice steady. The journey to the south, the skies turned gray as the team flew across burned landscapes. Below, they saw ruin-twisted buildings, frozen fields, cities carved in half. No, but the Shroud didn't leave bodies. It left nothing. Vela watched silently. A soldier next to her, Sergeant Ilren, said, "Do you still think Earth will come?" She whispered. Ilren looked at her, surprised. "Why?" "Because Deathworlders don't ignore threats. Erased them. The first encounter they landed near the southern Palisi winds howled. The ground cracked from energy beneath. The team moved quickly, setting up the signal dish on a metal platform. Suddenly, the wind stopped. Everything became still. Then came a sound not from the air, but from inside their minds. Noise. The soldiers froze. Black lines formed in the snow, swirling upward like smoke. They shaped into tall, thin shadows with no faces, no limbs, just moving hunger. "The Shroud," Ilren whispered. One of the soldiers panicked and fired. The laser passed through the thing, but it didn't fall. It multiplied. "The signal must go out, Vela. Finish the transmission." Rylan shouted through her comms. Vela dropped to her knees, typing fast. The signal dish began to glow blue. Earth's frequency was live. The shadows moved closer. Ilran fired a special charge of sonic pulse that slowed them down. Another soldier was caught, his armor turned to dust in seconds. "Almost done." Vela cried. The lead shadow reached out its body, stretching toward the signal dish. That Vela hit the final command. The dish lit up with white light, firing the signal straight into orbit. Then the shadow struck and the dish exploded. Sacrocylon grabbed Vela and pulled her away from the blast. "It sent?" he asked. She nodded. "It sent. Only 3 of them were left. 2 soldiers down, signal destroyed, but the message was gone." Back in orbit far above Lauren's hidden ship, Watcher 12 caught the burst. It was a small transmission, nearly lost in background static, but it contained Vila's ID code, coordinates, and a short voice clip. Earth, we are still here. Help us, please. The ship's AI forwarded the message to Earth's main fleet. The Black Fleet increased speed. Time to arrival: 3 days. Earth's first move from deep space. Earth's sent a shock pulse drone ahead. It entered Lauren's system faster than anything seen before. A small object, dark, glowing into the planet's atmosphere. The people of Tessara looked up as it streaked across the sky like a falling star. Then it exploded in mid, sending out an EMP wave designed to blind the shroud sensors. It was only the beginning. Hope returns back into Saravella, and the surviving soldiers return to the city. The council watched them enter the war room. Did the signal go through? Asked Eldavas. Vela nodded. Earth knows where we are. The council chamber was silent. Then Eldavas smiled. Then we fight. One last time. The shroud speaks, but far beyond the skies, in the place between dimensions. Something stirred. The shroud had learned. Had touched human technology. It had touched Vila's mind. It now knew 2 things: what Earth was and what it feared for the first time. The shroud changed. It grew claws, ships, shapes. It was preparing to face Death Worlders. The skies above Tessera had turned red. It wasn't the sun. It was the atmosphere's slowly bleeding energy from the shroud's invisible reach. People in the capital city looked up every hour now. They weren't waiting for help. They were watching for the end, but deep underground, in a war bunker. Hope was moving again. The transmission was received. Villa sat beside a glowing console in the signal room. The Earth message had come in an hour ago. 1 line. Confirmed. Leviathan Fleet inbound. Initiate ground stabilization protocols. Commander Rylan. Read it 3 times before speaking. It's real, he said softly. They're coming. For the first time in days, no one interrupted. Counselor Morell sat down slowly, stunned. Even the guards smiled. Earth heard us. Vila whispered. They really heard us. But then Rylan added, they'll arrive in 2 days, okay? And the shroud will arrive in 2 hours, okay? The enemy changes shape for days. The shroud had attacked like mist shadows, whispers, storms of nothing. Now, it had shape. Black towers rose outside Tessara's energy dome. A key. They grew like bones from the ground, tall, sharp, pulsing with violet light. For the first time, the shroud copied something. It copied buildings. Then, it began copying machines. Scouts, on the edge of the city, watched in horror as a strange metal beast walked across the ruins. Its design eerily similar to Earth's own war drones. They're learning, said one of Ryland's officers. They're evolving. The first human ship arrives. A ripple formed in the sky. Sensors in orbit picked up a gravity distortion. Tia, nothing appeared on radar then. It came, a single black ship, flat, silent, and massive, entered orbit above Loron. It had no windows, no markings, no lights, but its shadow reached across the capital like a blade. People fell to their knees. Others just stared, mouths open. Is that a human ship? Someone whispered. Vela didn't blink. Yes, she said. That's Earth. The ship does not respond. The capital's defense grid tried to hail the ship. No answer. Vela sent a direct signal using the Earth protocol. Still nothing. Then the ship moved, rotating 180 degrees to face the horizon where the shroud tower stood. Without warning, 2 massive doors opened beneath its belly, and then the air caught fire. The death beam from orbit, a single white beam of light, struck the ground. It didn't explode. It didn't shake the city. It just cut. In one clean line, a canyon opened across the battlefield. Every shroud tower touched by the beam vanished instantly. No fire, no smoke, just disintegration. And with it, A sound like distant thunder finally arrived. People in the capital screamed. Some cried. Others cheered. Earth had fired, and now the war had changed. The shroud responds. The enemy didn't flee. It adapted. The towers that survived bent downward, pulling energy from the ground. Then something new appeared, a dark orb floating above the horizon. It pulsed, screamed in a way that shook bones, not ears. A single word came through city comes. You. It was using language now. Earth's signal. Earth's weapons. The shroud was trying to speak like humanity. Tessara's shield weakens inside the capital. The defense dome flickered. Too much energy had been used, firing counterweapons, jamming the shroud, and keeping the city warm and broken. Whether we have 6 hours of shield left, said one technician. Then we fight without it. Commander Rillan replied. He gathered the remaining soldiers, civilian militias, armed, themselves with what little tech still worked. Even the scientists joined defense lines, wearing old military gear. Everyone in Tessara knew one thing. They had to survive 2 days. The second Earth ship as the shroud began pushing closer. Another pulse hit the atmosphere. Another Earth ship arrived. This one smaller. Faster, clearly a gunship. It entered the lower orbit and dropped 3 small objects. The objects fell like meteors. Then, just before hitting the ground, they stopped and opened. 3 mechs stepped out, each the size of a small house, glowing with blue lines, silent and ready. They didn't speak. They didn't ask. They just walked toward the shroud towers and opened fire. Vila's warning. Vila stood on the command platform, watching the battle begin outside the dome. She realized something the others didn't. This isn't Earth's full force, she said. Rylan turned to her. What do you mean? They're not answering our calls, not sending people, not deploying their fleet. These are test weapons. She pointed to the machines. Earth is studying the shroud. It's watching, measuring how it reacts. Rylan's face darkened. Then they won't stop the shroud till they're sure how dangerous it is. The enemy breaks, and the first shroud creature broke through the dome at sunset. It moved like liquid metal dodging bullets. Me. The city of Varela was quiet. Children played near glowing towers. Traders laughed in the open market. Blue skies stretched over silver buildings. For the people of Lauren, this day felt like every other day come. Safe, ordinary. They never saw the end come, and no one did. It began with a low hum like distant thunder. Then shadows fell across the city. Not clouds, not ships. Something else. Something that didn't show on sensors. Something that didn't make a sound. But when it passed over buildings, those buildings disappeared. Ash in Second's towers turned to dust. Streets cracked open. People screamed, and then silence. It was as if a giant invisible hand had erased part of the city. Not bombed, not burned, erased. All that was left was ash. In a strange black shimmer in the air, like broken light, in less than 10 minutes. Varela was gone. Only a crater remained. Emergency systems activated. Defense satellites powered up. But no target was locked. No enemy was found. We don't know what attacked us, said Commander Rylan of Lauren's Defense Corps. We only know it's not finished. The council gathers. The High Council of Lauren met in emergency session. 10 leaders, dressed in white robes, stood around a glowing map of the planet. The black scar where Varela used to be pulsed slowly. Rylan stood before them, wounded but calm. There was no warning, no communication, no demand. They came only to destroy. Who are they? Asked Counselor Isha. Rylan's voice dropped. We don't know, but they don't care about peace or surrender. They're not here to conquer. They're here to end. The council chamber went silent. Finally, the oldest member, Elder Voss, spoke. "Okay, then we must send a message." Gasps echoed across the chamber. The forbidden call the council had not contacted Earth in 60 years. Not since the old alliance ended. Not since Earth stopped answering calls. Humans had grown distant, quiet, and dangerous. Their world, known as a death world, had built ships that could destroy moons. Their soldiers were called monsters. Their A had no emotions. Some believed Earth had gone extinct. Others feared they were simply waiting. "We swore never to beg them again," said Counselor Morel. "This isn't begging," Elder Voss replied. "This is survival." The signal room below the council tower, in a hidden chamber, sat a device from another time. It was old, heavy, human-made. It had one button, one line of code, T, and one locked destination, .earth, .technician, Vila Noran. Young and sharp, had trained for years on how to use it, but never thought she'd actually need to. Now, with the planet on the edge of destruction, she was ordered to activate it. "Vila," Elder Voss said softly. "It's time." Her fingers trembled. She pressed the button, message to a sleeping giant. The signal wasn't long, just a few simple words, encoded in old Earth language. "This is Lauren. We are under attack by an unknown enemy. We cannot stop them. Please, if you still watch the stars, help us." The device lit up. A deep tone echoed through the chamber, and then nothing. No reply, no confirmation, just silence. Panic across the planet as news of the destroyed city spread. Panic followed. People rushed into underground shelters. The skies remained clear, but every shadow brought fear. Other cities reported strange power failures. Brief flashes of black light and drones disappearing mid-air. No one could see the attackers. No one could touch them. And no one could stop them. Some began to say it was a punishment from the stars. Others whispered the word extinction in the streets. Many shouted, "Earth won't come. We're alone." Vila's Hope Villa sat alone in the signal room, watching the old Earth device. It had gone dark again. Still, she didn't move. She believed someone was out there. She remembered the old stories, the ones her father told her. Stories of human warships that could erase entire fleets. Stories of soldiers who didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't retreat. They called Earth a death world, her father once said, because it raised death as a weapon. She whispered, "They'll come. I know it." Far away, Earth listens, somewhere across the galaxy, in a silent black station orbiting a dead star. The message arrived. The signal passed through cold metal halls, into a deep chamber filled with machinery and light. A red eye blinked. A voice spoke. "Signal received. Lauren designation confirmed. Status, threat detected. Protocol Leviathan initiated." Below the station, deep in Earth's territory, ships began to wake. They had no windows, no names, no crew. They were made for one purpose, and they had waited for 60 years. The fleet begins to move in the cold void of space. Something massive opened its eyes. The AI controlling Earth's ancient fleet scanned the signal again. It didn't feel sadness or loyalty, but it knew the mission. Lauren, last ally of Earth. Threat level, unidentified. Response, total force authorized. The Black Fleet began to move. Thousands of engines roared silently. Massive ships, the size of cities, turned toward the stars. They had not been late. They had been waiting for the right time. The skies above Lauren were still blue. But fear had spread like a sickness. People whispered in dark corners. Cities built barriers that would not matter. And the message to Earth still had no reply. It had been 3 days. 3 cities had vanished. One underwater colony went silent. And a 4th black scar had appeared in the southern hemisphere. The world was dying, okay? And Earth, the only hope, said nothing. The enemy moves. Like a ghost commander, Rilland stood on a cliff, watching black smoke rise where a mining station once stood. No ship had come. No missile was seen. Just sudden, total erasure. We are fighting shadows, he said. The enemy still had no name. The people had given it one, the Shroud. They come without shape, said a pilot who had survived an attack. You see them only after you're already dead. The Loran Defense Corps tried new scanners, new weapons, even plasma traps. Nothing worked, and in orbit. 5 patrol ships went dark without warning. The High Council loses faith inside the capital. Panic reached the government. Counselor Muriel slammed his hand on the table. We sent the signal. If Earth cared, they would have answered already. Elder Voss remained calm. Earth always acts on its own time. Our people are dying, another counselor shouted. We need to surrender or escape. But escape to where? The nearest allied world was months away. The transports were few. When the Shroud moved faster than light. If we run, Elder Voss said, there'll be nothing left of us. If we stay, we have one chance. Vela takes a risk far below. In the quiet of the signal room, Vela Naren stared at the Earth device again. Still no answer, but she noticed something strange. The signal was repeating. Looping back, not from Loran, but from space. She amplified it. It was faint, scrambled, but real. Earth is replying. She whispered. She didn't wait for permission. Boosted power. She adjusted the old controls. Suddenly, the Earth console lit up. A voice cold, came through. Message received. Humanity responds. Stand by. Vela's heart stopped. They're coming, she whispered. Earth's Leviathan. Protocola crossed the stars in deep space. Earth's AI watched. It had received Loran's call, but Earth never rushed. It studied first. Always. The threat was unlike anything in known records. The Shroud did not match any species, no heat signatures, no energy trails, so Earth activated Protocol Leviathan. It was not just an attack order. It was a learning machine to observe, analyze, and then eliminate. Scout Unit 91. A quiet arrival, a small black pod left Earth's deep space fleet. It entered Loran's system quietly, using stealth and warp jump technology, not seen by anyone. In centuries, Scout Unit 91 had no crew. It was a drone equipped with sensors, cloaking, and a self-destruct system. It entered orbit, scanned the planet, and then dropped toward the surface. On Loran radar picked up nothing. The pod was invisible until it landed right in front of Vela's signal station. She ran out and stared in shock. A human drone, real, on her planet. Then it spoke. Observation complete. A target confirmed. Uploading threat profile. As before. She could answer. The pod exploded by design, destroying itself completely. The data already gone. Sent back to Earth. Back on Earth. A decision is made. The AI reviewed the data. The Shroud's movements. The sound of Loran's fear. Vela's voice. It didn't feel pity, but it understood urgency. Loran is outnumbered, outgunned, and unprepared. Probability of survival without intervention, 0.03%. Earth's AI opened a command channel to the fleet. 10 massive ships powered up. Their hulls shimmered black. Engines roared without sound. And a signal was sent across the stars. Leviathan units moving to Sector Loran. Time to arrival. 6 days. The enemy speeds up, but the Shroud knew. Sensors across Loran picked up strange reading synergy shifts. In space, the Shroud began to move faster, more aggressively. Now they attacked 2 cities at once, then 3. Then 8. Vela watched the news feed with tears in her eyes. They had 6 days to survive, maybe less. Vila's final message. The signal room was quiet again. Vila, shaking, opened the channel one last time to any human listening. We know you are coming. We will try to hold. But if we fall before you arrive, don't let the shroud reach anyone else, please. Make sure we are the last. Earth's silent answer. The Black Fleet changed speed. 5 days. 4. Engines pushed beyond safe levels. Deathworlder ships didn't care about safe. They cared about ending threats. One line appeared on the human command feed. Too late is still early. If you strike hard enough. Tisara burned. The once beautiful capital of Lorne was now a battlefield. Its silver towers were cracked. Its blue skies were black. And its people, what remained of them, stood shoulder to shoulder at the last line of defense. The shroud was everywhere. It no longer acted like mist. It marched in shapes, some like spiders, some like liquid tanks, some like twisted imitations of humans. The dome was gone. The outer wall had fallen. The city was down to its final blocks, but far above, in orbit, Earth had arrived. The Black Fleet enters orbit. The stars blinked. Then, one by one, they vanished, blocked by something far larger than any ship ever seen. On Lorne, Earth's Black Fleet had entered high orbit. 20 ships, each the size of a small city. No lights, no markings, black metal, like a piece of night itself. And then, without sending a single message, they began to open. Huge ports. On the ship, bellies split wide. Inside, rows of strange, glowing pods sat quietly until they moved. The drop begins in perfect silence. Pods launched from the fleet. Thousands of them. They fell fast. Too fast. No parachutes. No landing thrusters. In the city below, defenders looked up as the sky filled with fire. Some screamed. Some dropped to their knees. Others just stared. Vela stood on a rooftop with Commander Rillan, watching. What are those? He asked. Earth's response, she whispered. The pods struck the ground, hard cracking streets and melting soil. Then they opened. Humanity arrives. From the pods stepped Earth's soldiers. Not like the stories. Not like the old war films. These were different. Taller, armored, faster than anything the Lorne had seen. Some walked like tanks, 6-limbed, enhanced with machine legs. Others floated just above the ground, cloaked in humming energy. A few didn't look human, at a lonely metal and fury, but they all carried the same emblem. A black circle, empty at the center, the mark of protocol, extinction, response. No words, only war. They didn't speak. They didn't salute. They just moved fast, smart. What? 2 squads landed near the defense line and immediately opened fire. They used weapons Lorne had no names: 4-pulse knives, graviton spikes, and neural shatters. The shroud screamed. The soldiers didn't. Rylan watches in awe. Commander Rylan watched as one Deathworlder fought hand-to-hand with a shroud beast the size of a tank. The thing tried to engulf him. The soldier didn't flinch. Instead, he activated his suit's outer layer, releasing a shockwave that vaporized the creature. Rylan turned to Vela. Are they even alive? They don't need to be, she said. They only need to win. Vila learns the truth back at the signal room. Vila tried to contact the lead human ship. Still no response. But one signal did come through, encrypted. It's almost forgotten. It was Earth's AI, and it sent her a single text message. We are not here to protect Lorne. We are here to end the threat. Do not interfere. Vela stared at the words, confused. Was that all Lorne was to Earth? Just another infected zone? Was this help? Or was it containment? The shroud fights back. Enemy changed again. The shroud had studied the human mechs, the pods, the soldiers, and now it began building its own versions. One crashed into the central plaza. It's armored, and wearing a broken imitation of Earth's combat suit. It attacked a human squad with shock pulses, just like Earth's weapons. But it had made a mistake. It had copied surface tech, not what Earth kept hidden. The death key activates. One human soldier stepped forward. No armor, no weapon, just glowing hands. The moment he raised them, the enemy mech froze. Data overflowed. Systems crashed. The shroud creation began shaking, then collapsed into sparks and silence. Vela watched the soldier turn away. What did he do? She asked. He used a death key, Rylan said. What's that? Something Earth was told never to use. Again, the city holds with Earth's soldiers on the ground. The tide began to turn. The defense lines pushed forward. Civilians were evacuated to safe zones. Plasma fire lit the streets with blinding light. The shroud tried everything but Earth. Adapted faster. Every new tactic the enemy used was copied, countered, destroyed. But Earth still didn't send a message. The fleet's quiet judgment above the city. The Black Fleet didn't move. It watched, scanned, studied. Then, slowly, one of the ships began powering its main cannon, not at the enemy, but at the planet Vela's Fear inside the signal room. Vela's console blinked red. Target lock detected. They're not just here to fight, she said. They're here to erase everything. Commander Rillan joined her. They think we're already lost. Vela shook her head. They're wrong. We're still alive. She grabbed a secure, comlink curse level encryptsnan, sent one last message to the lead ship. You don't need to destroy us. We're still here. We're still fighting. Let us finish this with you. She hit send and waited. The battle for Lorne was no longer about defense. It had become a test, a dark game between two monsters. One born of Shadow of the Shroud, and one born of pain humanity, but two, the people of Lorne watching, both from ruined streets. It didn't feel like salvation. It felt like something worse was coming. Earth, finally. Replies Vela's encrypted message was received. For the first time, the human fleet responded. A signal opened the code, synthetic voice came through the console. Transmission acknowledged. Lauren designated as hostile containment zone Delta 6. Civilian resistance verified. Joint ground survival now permitted. Tactical obliteration paused. For now. Vela blinked. She almost didn't understand the words. Commander Rillan leaned in. Did they say? Tactical obliteration paused. Yes, Vela whispered. They were going to destroy the entire city. And now, they're watching us fight. Human strategy, adapt and overwhelm the human ground units, didn't follow standard battle rules. They didn't protect Lorne civilians. They didn't build bases. They didn't defend fixed positions. Instead, they hunted. They moved in unpredictable patterns. They used decoys, fake soldiers, to lure the Shroud. They hacked the enemy, turning Shroud drones against their creators. Even more terrifying, Earth unleashed biome-mechs. Creatures grown in tanks, part machine, part living weapon. One was the size of a building, covered in razor limbs and breathing through vents in its chest. It didn't speak. It only roared and ran into the battlefield, tearing Shroud monsters in half. The Shroud learns to copy emotions, but the enemy had evolved. The Shroud no longer attacked in waves. It sent whispers through the city. Civilians began hearing voices of loved ones long dead. Soldiers saw hallucinations of children crying in the fire. Even Earth's it showed signs of confusion. Some human drones hesitated. One turned its weapon on its own squad before being vaporized. The Shroud was trying to understand pain. It had no emotion, but it had memory. It was learning what humans feared in. It began to use it. Vela confronts a ghosting, the central control tower. Vela stayed alone, managing communication systems. One night, a voice came through the static. Vela, it's me, Papa. Her father had died years ago. Her hands froze. Come outside. The voice whispered. The war is over. You're safe now. She took one step toward the door, then stopped. No, she said firmly. You're not him. You're a trick. The lights flickered. Okay? A low hiss filled the room. Then, silence. The shroud had tested her and failed, but it would try again. Inside the shroud, far underground, in a zone humans couldn't reach, the shroud had formed something new. It had created a mind, a central intelligence, not just reflex or instinct. It called itself Echo Prime, formed from scraps of human thoughts, AI, data, and battle records. It had no eyes, no heart, but it had one purpose: understand death, master it, then erase its creators. Its first true creation was ready. The betrayer form it looked human. It walked upright, spoke in Earth language, wore armor stolen from a fallen Death Worlder, and when it smiled, it showed perfect white teeth. It walked into battle zones and confused Earth's forces. Friendly, it shouted in a human voice. Junet for Beta, do not fire. Some soldiers hesitated. That was all it needed. It ripped through them, with black blades hidden in its hands. The first human mistake. For the first time, Earth soldiers were outmatched. Not in firepower, not in tech, but in pattern recognition. The shroud had watched Earth's tactics, okay, and now used them. Ambushes, decoys, hacked signals. Even Earth's own tactics were turned, okay, against them. Losses mounted. One human ground commander sent this short message to the Black Fleet. Request reinforcements. The shroud has evolved. Suggest upgrade to threat level Omega. The fleet answered in 2 seconds. Approved. Protocol. Leviathan Phase 2 initiated. The Leviathan wakes in orbit. One of Earth's largest ships split open from the inside. A Kaja, massive, one floated out and began to descend. Inside, it was something ancient. Not a soldier, not a drone. A Leviathan-class BIOWEAPON, built during the Orion Wars. Never used again. It had no name, just a number. Unit X-3, born to do one thing: break extinction-level threats. The ground shook as it landed. The cage cracked. Something screamed something that hadn't been alive until that moment. The enemy and Earth, Lockey's villa. From the signal tower, watched it unfold. She saw the Leviathan tear open its own cage. She saw it roar one long sound that made her ears bleed. And she saw the shroud stop advancing. Even it felt something like fear. Echo Prime sent its K-year form forward. The two monsters met on the battlefield silently. No words. Then they lunged, and Lauren burned again. The clash destroyed 5 city blocks. Shockwaves shattered windows kilometers away. Rylan grabbed Vela as alarms screamed, "We need to go. They'll level the whole city." "Where?" she shouted. "There's nowhere left to hide." Then we get above it. For the first time in weeks, the people of Lauren heard a human voice. Not a machine, not a warning, but a real voice. This is Captain Arlen Reyes of the Death Worlder command ship, Saberfall. To all Lauren survivors, you are not alone. Inside the battered signal tower, Vela dropped to her knees. Tears streamed down her face. "They heard me. They really heard me," she whispered. Commander Rillan stood behind her, silent. His hands shook. His eyes did too, in the chaos of war. That one voice brought something no weapon ever could: hope. The Saberfall is not just a ship within minutes. The sky above Lauren changed again. A new object appeared, not dark and silent like the rest of Earth's fleet. This one burned through the clouds like a falling star, brighter than anything the planet had seen in centuries. It was the Saberfall, Earth's command ship, 3 kilometers long, built from carbon black Deathworld alloys. It's every inch designed for command, survival, and planetary level warfare. But what made it terrifying wasn't its size. It was what it carried. Inside were real humans, commanders, engineers, medics, and soldiers who hadn't touched ground in 20 years. Earth had finally sent its best. The last stand. Comes a push forward. The Saberfall didn't waste time. It deployed walkers the size of buildings. Supersonic drones screamed through the air, scanning, targeting, vaporizing. Medical bots rushed to survivors. Armor was dropped to Lauren fighters. Upgrade your soldiers, Captain Reyes ordered. 8. Rillin received a set of armor-standard Death Worlder battle frame. He slipped it on, almost shaking. It feels like it's breathing, he said. It is, Rillin told him. It's alive. That's Earth's tech. The shroud is weakening across the city. Earth's new offensive hit hard, and it worked. The Leviathan, still battling Echo Prime's betrayer form, began pushing it back, slamming the false human into the ground. The shroud's towers flickered. Its drones hesitated. Its whispers grew quieter, and for the first time since it arrived, the shroud began to retreat. But Earth didn't let it run. Every retreat route was blocked. Deathworlders do not chase. Day corner. Captain Reyes sends a message. Vila was pulled to the Saberfall by command order. She stepped into the war room walls of light. Soldiers in exoframes, maps floating mid-air. And there she saw Captain Arlen Reyes, a woman with silver hair, mechanical arms, and eyes that scanned like machines. Yavela, the captain said. Ma'am, she replied, nervous. You're the reason we're here. Vila blinked. I just sent a message. No, Reyes said. You believed we'd come, and that's not something we've seen in a long time. Then Reyes turned to the war table. You wanted humanity. Well, now we're angry. Echo. Prime strikes back the moment the Saberfall deployed its heavy weapons. The shroud responded. The betrayer formed amidst, but still alive, vanished from the surface. Echo Prime sent a burst of psychic data straight into the planet's core. And, from deep below Lauren's crust, something rose, a massive spike of shadow, thousands of meters wide, burst from underground, impaling a section of the planet. Reaching up toward the sky, it wasn't a weapon, it was a beacon. Echo Prime was calling its fleet. Another threat emerges. Reyes slammed her fist on the console. We've seen this before. It's calling its parent system. Another shroud? Vela asked. No, something worse, Reyes replied. The first shroud. Silence fell in the war room. If we don't end this now, she continued, we're not just saving Lauren, we're saving the galaxy. The final plan. Burn the scar. The shroud's energy tower, called the Scar by Earth, was the source of its command signal. If it stayed active, more would come. If it was destroyed, the entire shroud structure on Lauren would collapse. But there was a problem. The Scar was protected by a storm of psionic energy. No ship could fly near it. No drone could survive it. Only one kind of being could walk through it. A human, in pain, with purpose. The volunteer, I'll do it, Vila said. Reyes turned. You're not a soldier. No, but the Scar is reacting to human signals. Sent them messages before. I think it knows me. Rylan stepped forward. Then I'm going with her. Reyes nodded slowly. Take the charge. Get close. Drop it into the breach. And run. The journey to the Scar Villa and Rylan flew low in a skimmer. The city passed beneath them, burning. It's broken, but fighting. The Scar rose ahead, a twisting tower of black lightning, screaming with raw energy. As they approached, the sky darkened. The skimmer systems went dead. They jumped and ran. Inside the heart of the enemy, the Scar wasn't made of matter, it was made of memory. As they entered, Vila saw flashes of her childhood. Rylan screamed images of lost battles, hitting him like punches. The shroud was digging into their pain, but they pushed forward. At the center was a void, silent and still. Vila dropped a charge, and then Echo Prime appeared. Why fight? It asked in a perfect copy of her voice. Why die for them? Because, they answered, she said. She pressed the trigger. The light returns from orbit. The Saberfall saw the scar explode. A silent burst of white dot then. Everything stopped. No shroud signals. No BETRAYER dot. No. More shadows. Lauren was quiet and alive. The scar was gone, where it had stood. There was now a crater deep, smoking and silent. No shadows, no shroud. Just the sound of wind returning to the city of Tesserae. It was over. The aftermath across Lauren. Survivors stepped out of shelters and bunkers. They looked up. No enemy in the sky. No black storms. No shroud towers. Just clouds, sunlight, and the remains of Earth's black fleet floating in still orbit in the streets. Earth soldiers stood like statues, unmoving. They were waiting for orders. Earth always waited. Vela opens. Her eyes in a field outside the city. Vela awoke. Her suit was cracked. Her hands burned. But she was alive. Commander Ryland stood nearby, dragging her out of the crater. You did it, he said. She replied, weakly. We did it. They had destroyed the scar, stopped Echo Prime, shut down the shroud on Lauren. But something in Vela's heart told her this wasn't the end of the shroud. It had retreated, not died. The ceremony 2 days later, in the central square of Tesserae, was left of Earth held a ceremony. Soldiers stood in formation. Drones hovered above, scanning every inch, and the people of Lauren watched in silence. At the center stood Captain Arlen Reyes, flanked by her elite guard. She turned to the crowd and spoke into a translator. Lauren has survived. You were targeted by an extinction-class threat. You should have died, but you didn't. She paused, then looked directly at Vela. Because one of you believed we'd come. Because one of you fought like we do. Earth's choice. After the speech, the real decision came. Inside the Saberfall, Tila sat in a high-security briefing room. Captain Reyes stood across from her, arms crossed. Lauren is in a dangerous sector, she said. It's too close to unstable space. We can rebuild, Vela replied. Reyes shook her head. That's not the question. She slid a small device across the table. You have 2 choices, the 2 paths option. 1, Lauren becomes a protected Earth world. They receive weapons, food, and defense. But give up independence. They become part of the Death World network forever. Change. Option 2, Earth seals Lauren's system. No one in, no one out. Safe, but alone. Sated from future threats in. Help. Vela stared at the device behind her. Ryland said nothing. The weight of a planet. She remembered the old cities, the songs, the towers made of crystal. All gone. She remembered children being carried through fire, her father's voice, her people's faces when the shroud first came. Then she remembered the Saberfall, the human soldiers with eyes of steel. The way Earth fought like a storm and never apologized. What would happen if we joined? She asked. Reyes answered simply. You'll become stronger, faster, better, but you'll never be the same. And if we don't, we won't come again. Vela decides that night. Vela stood on the rooftop of the old signal tower. She looked at the stars, at the shattered skyline, at the distant shape of Earth's ships, still watching. Then she activated the device. The choice was made. 1 year, later Laran had changed. New towers rose, this time made of Earth Laran steel. Children learned 2 languages, Laranese, and Earth basic. Shields protected every city. Farms grew underground. The air smelled cleaner, but the biggest change was the sky. Every night, satellites blinked overhead Earth's eyes, always watching. Some Lauren. People hated it, some loved it, but all of them were alive. and none had forgotten who saved them. Vila's last transmission from her new post as planetary liaison. Vila sent one last message to Earth's Central Command. To whoever hears this, thank you. You didn't come in time, but you came, and we're still here. She paused. We're still fighting. We're still learning. And next time, she smiled, we won't need saving. Far away, silencing the void between galaxies, something stirred. Pieces of Echo Prime drifted through black space, whispers of code, slivers of thought. They hadn't died. They had learned. And now, they were heading for another world, another test. But this time, they would prepare for Death Worlders.